My name is Tim Manthey. I am official title is Lead Technology Field Services. And today we're going to be going over our new EASYmapping view system that was released a couple weeks ago. So to get in, we're going to come into EasyWriter Pro, search for our policy. Come into the policy, and right away we're going to want to endorse the policy just like we did in the past. And then we can head straight into EasyMapping. You're going to see EasyMapping is going to open. You're going to, in the Fields tab, see all of your fields here. And then just like before, if we want to get into our EasyMapping views, we can come up here to the top and click on views. And it brings us right into views. So those of you familiar with what views was before, this is a lot different look. We matched it as close as we could to our current EasyMapping system. So you can see all of the icons on the left. We have the window pop-ups either on the right or left. You can move those around. We'll kind of go through some different options there. And then we change the outline from that red to that blue. So those are kind of the big things you'll notice right away that's different from the old views. And kind of like EasyMapping, more usable map space. We don't have those pop-out ribbons on the corners kind of getting in the way. So we're going to start up here on the top and just kind of talk about a few things within views. So you can see up here we have map mode, PLSS, and that PLSS, so for the section for this policy is blue. If we want to click on that, we can. And this just opens up our generate views window. So you can see here if I want to generate my views by section, FSN tract, or as an empty set, you can do that right here, kind of start from scratch on whatever you're doing. And there will be some more different pop-ups or messages up here that we'll get to along with the training you'll see later on. So if I wanted to go by PLSS section, I can choose that option, hit create. It's going to generate my views, you know, if they're custom before, or if you didn't have any views on the policy yet, it's going to generate those by the generic section view. We move over to the top right here. We have the same, just like EasyMapping, the total field acres. If there are acres reported, there'll be reported acres, and the imagery options right here by default is going to be fastest. You can choose those. If you don't want to see any imagery, you can choose none. Might be a little bit quicker for you. The first thing I'm going to point out is our little pop-up windows here on the right side. So when you get into views and open it up, right away, you're going to have the map book window pop up and a selected view window pop up. They're both going to be docked to the right. And just like EasyMapping, if I want to move one or the other over to the right or to the left, I can do that simply by, if I select the one I want, I can dock it over to the left, move it over to the left so both of them are always open. Or even float. If I want to float that and put it on a different monitor, I have the ability to do that. So kind of personal preference there, whatever you're looking at, whatever you want to see. I personally like mine on the left, my selected view on the left. So I'm going to leave that over there. So I'll talk a little bit about the views here, or the windows, excuse me. So this map book one, this just gives information overall about the policy and the views in that policy. You can see we have total fields on this policy 42. Total views on this policy is going to be 6. That's right up here in the corner. We're able to sort views right here, zoom or select if we have any highlighted. And this is where we now have our custom unit designation, which we'll get to later in the training. Underneath that, we have all of the views labeled that are currently on the map book, or excuse me, in the system. You can see it goes in order, view 1, 2, 3, 4. This will match our acreage side. So view 1 here will be view 1 on the acreage side. View 1 here will be the first mapped image in the map book if you have that printed off. After that, we have the name. So this is if you had any view names would show right here, or you could enter in that view name right here, and we'll get to that later as well. And then legal description is the next one. So it's going to give the legal description, or location description, excuse me. So if it's by FSN, it'll put FSNs in there. This one's by section, so we're showing section data. If there are sections combined, it'll list all of them right here. And then that last column is fields. So that's how many fields are currently in the view right here. So you can see view 1 has 4 fields. Over on the left, we have the selected view, and right now there's no view selected. So it's going to be blank because we obviously have no information to show. If we were to come in here and double click on any of these views right here, you can see those selected view, the information starts to fill out right here. So we have the zoom to selected or zoom to all, depending if you have multiple views selected. We can click on that. It's going to zoom you right into whatever you have selected here. Underneath that, the view description. So right now, since we only have view 1 highlighted or in context, that's going to be under there. If we continue to build this list, it's just going to continue to build right here. View 1, view 2, however you have selected will continue to build right here. Underneath that, we have fields. So right now there's 4 fields in this view. You can see right here. And then we have the field cards, kind of like in EASYmapping, the field cards when you go into QuickNav. So we have all these field cards right here, so you can know exactly what fields, very easily, what fields are in the view or views you are looking at. Like I said, we have the one view here. If I want to add another view to this list, I can come over here and just double click again. And now it brings us, it builds that list. So now we have 2 views and all of the fields. So in this case, there's 10 fields here will be showing up on the field cards to the left. Going to clear these. Sorry, bear with me. There we go. So I'm just going to get 1 in context here, and we're going to start working on the left side. So you can see the icons on the left are very similar to EASYmapping. There's going to be some differences in here depending on what you have selected, obviously, because we are in views. So I won't go over every icon because they are the same. We have all of our zooming functionality and panning that we do in EASYmapping right here on the top left icons. Underneath that, we have the identify, map layers. The nice thing about this new EASYmapping views is the QuickNav. So in the past, especially on a policy that was spread out, you would have to zoom around and kind of manually find those areas just by looking at the map. Now we have the QuickNav option. So if I were to open that, our QuickNav window will pop up and we can search by fields, views, policy sections, all sections, anything right here to kind of find different areas, which can be very handy, especially on a bigger policy that might be a little more spread out. And then underneath that, we have all of the icons that we will be using when we are doing our views here in the system. And then just like in the Fields tab, they're going to be available on the left. They're also available on the right-click option if you're on the map, so you don't have to go back and forth. Kind of personal preference, whatever you want to use right here. So we're going to start here with this first, the first couple icons. So the select, just like EASYmapping, we want to make sure the select tool is highlighted if we want to select any views. So like I talked about before, we can select by double clicking the lines right here, or we can click in an actual view and it's going to highlight that view for us right here. And just like EASYmapping, I can click on multiple ones. It's going to highlight multiple views, and you can see my selected view list will start to build just like it did when I was double clicking on the list to the right. And then also just like fields, if you want to deselect anything, we can either click on that view again, it's going to deselect it, or we can use the deselect all. If you have multiple views selected, it'll deselect everything that you have selected right here. First one we're going to talk about is delete. So if we need to come in here and delete any views for any reason, we can select that view, or again, multiple views if we want to. Come over here to the left and hit delete, the big red X that looks the same as in fields. It's going to ask, are you sure you want to delete the following? This will unassign 7 fields. We can hit continue. And now those fields are deleted, or those views, excuse me, are deleted from the policy. And you can see those fields that were green, representing that they are part of a view, now turn yellow, which would mean that there is no view for those fields that are yellow. And then up on top, after map mode, PLSS, now we have an unassigned fields of 7. So this is telling you there's 7 fields on this policy that are not assigned to any view as you're looking at it right now. This one's easy enough because it is nice and zoomed in. If you were zoomed out, you'd be able to come in here and click on the field number or click through the arrows. It's going to bring you right to that field, so you know exactly where that field that's unassigned is, and you can add it to an existing view or create a new view for it if you need to. You're going to get right in on top of these here for this next part. So up next, we have, if we want to create any views, so there's a couple ways, the same as it was before, just kind of new spots to create views. We have the draw field option. So this works the same as before. If I choose that, I can click and hold. And now as soon as the field becomes completely inside of that shape that I'm drawing, it's going to turn green, representing that if I stopped right here, these are the fields that would be part of that view. When I release, it will automatically create that view around those fields that turn green and add them to that view I just made. So that is the draw view, kind of the original way we've always had it for the past 10 years. Tried and true, gets the job done there. The other option is draw by field. So this is nice if we want to just click on the fields and have the view automatically created. Maybe you have some fields in between other fields that you don't want to include. So if we do that, we just have to make sure the select tool is highlighted. And from here, we can just click on fields. They're going to highlight, just like in EASYmapping red. I can click on as many as I need. They're going to build. You can see that list comes up on the left of the selected fields. When I hit add or create, excuse me, it's going to create that view and automatically snap it to the boundaries of those fields that I have selected. So again, personal preference if you want to draw, or just by selecting the fields, there's a couple different ways you can create brand new views on this policy with fields that are not assigned to a view as you're looking at it. Up next, if we want to merge any views together, so I can come up here. If I click on this view right here, it's going to highlight those in green. Now you can see that red color pop up, and that red color signifies that those fields are part of a view on the policy, just not the view you have selected. So I can select one view. If I select another view, it's going to highlight those. You can see on the left, again, our selected views start to build. And now we have the same options, but a new one pops up right here on the lower left, and that's the merge views icon. So if I were to click on merge views, it's going to take those two views, combine all of the fields, that view, into one view. So now on the map book or the acreage tab, that's going to be one view instead of the two it was before. So that's a quick way to combine views, especially in this case where they cross section lines, maybe farm it all as one, whatever the case is, to get those views on one page. And now if you look over to the right, you can see the total views went from 6 to 5, and now that fifth view has both, or all the section location right here of that view listed there. So nice, quick, easy way to see that. With merging, there may be times where we want to toggle different fields on and off to bring them into the view or take them out of the view, or modify that shape, because right now this shape is what you're going to see on the map book. It'll be zoomed in this tight right on top of those fields. If you want to see a little bit of area around there, or if you know they may be farming a certain area just right outside, you want to show it on the map book, we can do that by making sure that view is selected. And again, we can go to the left or right click, and we can go to modify view. And now we have that, what we've seen in the past, the blue box with the white corners called out. If I were to grab any of the white corners, I can drag and move that size of the box right here, make it as big or as tight as I want. If I grab the blue line, I'm able to move that entire view, that shape, around to wherever I want it. So if I want to move this over here, I can do this. I set it down. That is my new shape. And now, instead of hitting deselect like in the old system, under the modify view tab or window we have open, there's a complete button. So we can hit complete if we want to keep it, cancel if we're just messing around and want to cancel that and revert it back to what it was. But I hit complete. Now that view is saved just like I drew it in there when I was modifying it. Next one, the next one I have is toggle. So if I have a view selected and I need to take some fields off of the view because they're maybe going on a different view, but you want that same size, you just don't want those fields on there, we can come in here, select that view, and now we can choose the toggle fields icon either by right clicking or on the left side. And whatever fields I click on, you can see now they turn from green to yellow, representing that they no longer have a view and they're not going to be part of this view I have selected. So I can choose those fields I want to toggle off. They're going to turn them to yellow, like I said. If we want to steal any fields, so if we have this view and we want this field 48 right here part of this view, instead of modifying and dragging it out and deselecting other fields that encompass it, we can just simply click on the field we want to steal from a different view, and it's going to expand that view automatically and turn it green. So now that field will be part of the view we're looking at right here. Again, if everything looks good, we can hit complete. And now we have that view. You can see if I were to select it again, is all of these green fields right here, and these yellow fields will not show on that view. So we'll have to make our own view for that one. With that, I will talk about complete the set next here. If we're in here doing custom views and we run into a place like this, or we did a lot of custom things, and there's leftover fields that are just going to be generic FSN views or section views, whatever, depending on where you're at in the country, and you don't want to go in there and draw generic views for every missing field like this by hand. You just want to get it done quick and move on. We have an option to complete the set, which is this one right here. It's the kind of the graph looking with the plus sign. When I hit that, what it's going to do, you can see those fields turn green that were yellow. What that does is it takes the fields that are not assigned to any view on the policy and just creates a generic view based on the map mode you have up here. So in this case, it's a section. So it's going to create generic section views for all of those missing or unassigned fields on the policy. So that's a quick way to make generic or default views without having to go in and manually draw them after you've done your custom views. I'm just going to grab a view in context here. So now we have section 1 in context here. You can see on the left side we have the field cards right here. Unassigned fields in view 0. So that means there's 0 fields in this view that are unassigned. Up next, we're going to talk about custom units. And our custom units before was a checkbox up on top, and you had to go down to the bottom to check that. Now it's all right over on the right side here. You can see this icon for use custom units. And if I were to select that, it's going to stay highlighted, so you know next time you get in there, okay, we have custom unit views basically on here. And when I click that over here next to fields, now we have the units tab. So I already click on that. This is going to show all of the units that are a part of the view I have selected. So you can see for this section 1 view, here's the 3 units we have. What our custom units option allows you to do is hide units from showing up on the acres tab or in the map book on that page. So if you have any scenarios, in this case, you know, if this is a spring policy and you're coming to acreage report and you don't want to see any wheat units or anything that they're not going to report on that page, we can use custom units right here. Come over to units, and I can simply click the red X on the unit I don't want to show. It's going to give you a message. Are you sure you want to unassign? Yes. And now that unit is kind of hidden from section 1 on the map book and the acreage side. It does not do anything back on policy editor as far as marking the unit no longer farming or deleting it. It's still going to be there. It's just not going to show in the map book or the acreage for this view. The only caveat to that is if that unit does not show on any other page, we'll add a blank page at the end to show all unassigned units, just because with the acreage report, we have to show all units that are on the policy. But if that unit shows up somewhere else, then we won't have that blank page because it's showing on a different page maybe. With that, if we unassign that wheat unit, and now we're at the time, okay, we need to add that wheat unit back, or maybe I unassigned it incorrectly. To get it back into a view, we have a couple different ways to do that. We can come back up here to assigned units. If we click on that over on the left in the selected view window, if we click on that, it's going to bring all of the possible units based on the location for the view we have selected. So you can see here, we'd only have the corn and soybean selected. If I want to bring that wheat unit back in, I can simply click that box, hit OK, and now we can see that wheat unit is added back in there to the policy, or to the view, excuse me. So that's nice if you want to bring one back. If you want to bring everything back and just go with the kind of the generic or the default units on the page, and you don't want to do that one by one, add them all back in, all we have to do is click on this use custom units icon again, and it'll tell you right here, you're about to delete existing custom unit assignments. Do you want to continue? I hit continue. It's going to bring back every unit that maybe we hid in the past and show it on the correct page based on the location in EasyWriter Pro. So we'll head back over here to the map book window. So there's a couple things we missed here, or didn't talk about right away. The first one is sort views. So if I were to click sort views, it's going to pop up our sort views window. And we're able to move these views around to show them in any order we want on the acreage tab and in the map book. So by default, it's going to go in numerical order based on either FSN or section, whichever one you have chosen. If you want to move these around, you can do that. So it's easy as grabbing whatever view you want, and we have the options right up here. We can send it to top. If we do that, obviously it moves it all the way up to the top. Send to bottom, we'll move it all the way to the bottom, or we can just move it up or down one at a time here and start reordering these windows or these views, whatever order we want to show it in the map book and the acreage side. So that's a quick way. And then we also have the reset list. So if we get in here and we want to just reset it or bring it back to what it was when we got in, we can hit that and everything goes back to the numeric order like we had before. We're done with that. We can hit save. And now if I had any custom sort in there, that'll save and show next time in the map book in the acreage tab. And then also in the top right in the map book here is the name. I mentioned that earlier, but now we'll kind of get back to that. So if you have any policies with custom names on the views, you can update that right here. We don't have to go into each individual view and do that anymore. So this would be different than the unit name or the farm name. If we name any views, they're going to show up on top of the map book in a blue writing, or on the acreage tab, it's going to show there as well over on the view tabs on the right side. We can come in here, select the view we want, and name that view whatever we need to right here. I can move on to the next one. And if I don't know if it's a big policy here, and I go, okay, which one's view 2? I think I know what it is. If I highlight that, hit zoom/select, or double click on that one, it'll highlight that view, and zoom and select will bring me right to that view. So, okay, I know what view that is now. I can come in here and type in whatever farm name I want right here. We're able to do that for every view here. We can name them all. We don't have to. Kind of personal preference, whatever you want to do right here. Excuse me there. So that's a quick, easy way to do that without having to go on each individual view and name them that way. I did miss one thing with the custom units here. We come back to custom units. We now have, kind of like before with the unassigned fields, we have unassigned units. So right now there's 0. If I were to come here and take this off, yes, we have a little bug that I think is going to be released tonight, but that unit counter will build and it'll show 1 unassigned units right there. So if we need to come in here, we can see if we have any unassigned units, if we've done any manual work, or how many unassigned units we have right here. The last thing I'm going to talk about is the empty set, and this is something either people use it or they don't, and which is both fine. I'm going to get back out to farm view. In this map mode up on the top, if we click on this PLSS again, we have the normal 3 options right here: section, FSN track. The last option is an empty set. So if I were to click that, we have to tell the system what the map mode is right here. So we're going to stick with PLSS, and I can hit create. And what this does is it basically wipes away every view you have on the policy and kind of is a blank canvas for you to come in here and start creating your views. So this would be really good if you have a lot of small fields you need to create views for, or if you have a lot of custom views or majority custom views, and you don't want to take the time to come in and merge and toggle and adjust the views, we can start as this empty set, and now I'm able to come in here, and whether I want to use draw and draw my views this way, or even just to select and select the fields here, I can do this, create all of these custom views I have right here. Very easy without having to merge or do anything like that. I'll do one more. So we have all the custom views created we need, and very easy, a lot easier maybe, you know, depending on what you like, a lot easier than modifying and toggling and moving some boundaries around. So we can create those custom views. You can see we still have 18 unassigned fields. And now instead of, like I talked about before, instead of making that generic section or FSN view manually, we can come and hit complete the set. And it's not going to touch any of our custom views here. They're still here, still the same. And it's just going to create those generic views based on your map mode for the rest of the fields or any missing fields. So again, that's kind of personal preference if you want it. It's kind of nice if you do have a lot of custom views on a policy to start over and build them that way. But again, personal preference, whatever you want to do there. And that is very quick, very easy, but that is views in a nutshell. The only other thing you're gonna have to do is, instead of hitting save on the lower left like before, our save button, just like in different areas, is up on the top. So we can hit save to save those changes. If you do forget to hit that and try to close out of this or go back to fields, we will have a pop-up warning asking if you want to save your views. You can just hit yes and save right there to make sure those roll over to the map book and the acreage tab. Like I said, that is custom views in a nutshell. We have a lot of the same functionality, but hopefully made it a lot faster, a lot easier to kind of move around the map, and some different options in here to kind of more easily do what you need to do while in our views portion of the system. With that, are there any questions about what I just went over? We will give you guys some time back, about a half hour back here. So get in there, play around, try it out. I think you'll find that it's very easy to use and user friendly, and a lot faster than what it was before. So thank you all for joining, and hope you have a good rest of the day.